The streets of Lagos were alive that morning, the kind of chaos that somehow felt like rhythm. Hawkers shouted from every corner, buses honked as they fought for space, and somewhere above all the noise, Amina Okafor stood on a pedestrian bridge with her camera in hand. She was 26, her long black braids brushing against her back as the wind played with them. The lens clicked, capturing a moment, a mother laughing with her child at a food stand. Amina smiled faintly. Every face had a story, she always said. And somehow, she wanted to tell them all. But dreams didn't pay bills. Her phone buzzed, a text from her landlord. Rent due tomorrow. No excuses. Amina exhaled, tucking the phone back into her bag. Life had been a struggle since her mother died. She worked part-time in a photo studio, freelanced when she could, and prayed that someday, someone would notice her work. That prayer was answered the next morning. An email. Subject line, International Photography Contract, Seoul. Her heart skipped. The message was short, formal, and too good to be true. We have reviewed your portfolio. Your style fits our upcoming project in South Korea. Travel and accommodation will be covered. Contract duration, 6 months. Reply within 24 hours if interested. No company name. Just an address in Seoul. She hesitated. Scam? She thought. But the email was signed with a seal she'd seen before, Kong Group Holdings. They were one of Asia's biggest conglomerates, known for tech, real estate, and whispered rumors that never made the papers. Still, it was her dream come true. Amina replied yes. 2 weeks later, she was at Murtala Muhammad International Airport with her life packed into one suitcase. Her younger sister, Chika, hugged her tightly. Don't forget where you're from, Chika said, smiling through tears. I won't, Amina promised. This is just my chance. She boarded the plane without looking back. As the clouds swallowed Lagos beneath her, she whispered. Mama, I'll make you proud. She didn't know that she was flying straight into a world of shadows, and that the man waiting for her in Seoul would change everything she thought she knew about love and trust. When she landed, it was night. Seoul glittered like 1,000 diamonds scattered across the earth. Her breath fogged in the cold air. A driver in a black suit held up a sign with her name, Miss Amina Okafor. He didn't smile. Miss Amina, he said in accented English. Welcome to Seoul. Mr. Kong is expecting you. She frowned slightly. Mr. Kong? From the photography project? He only nodded. Please, follow me. They drove for over an hour, leaving the city lights behind. The roads grew darker, quieter, until they stopped before massive iron gates. The place looked nothing like a company building. It was a mansion. No, a fortress. Guards stood at the entrance, earpieces in, their eyes following her every move. Her pulse quickened. Is this where I'll be staying? She asked softly. The driver only replied, You'll be briefed inside. The gates opened with a deep metallic groan. Amina stepped out, heart pounding. Somewhere in the shadows, a pair of eyes was watching her, sharp, cold, assessing. That was the first time Ji-hoon Kang saw her. And in that moment, he made a deadly mistake. He thought she was someone else. The mansion's interior was silent, too silent. Amina's shoes clicked softly against the marble floor as she followed the driver down a long hallway lit by dim chandeliers. Everything felt cold, impersonal, like a museum of secrets. Her reflection wavered in the glass walls as they passed. She could feel eyes on her, guards, staff, cameras. Please wait here, the driver said, stopping before 2 large wooden doors. Mr. Kong will see you shortly. Amina nodded, clutching her bag. Her fingers trembled slightly. Maybe this was how big companies worked here, intimidating, formal. But something about the atmosphere made her stomach tighten. Then the doors opened. He walked in. Ji-hoon Kang. Tall, sharp jawline, dressed in a black suit that looked like it was made for him. His hair was slicked back, revealing a small scar near his temple. His expression, unreadable, but intense enough to make her breath hitch. He didn't speak for a long time. He just stared. And when he finally did, his voice was calm, but his eyes burned. "You came back." Amina blinked. "Excuse me?" He stepped closer. "You thought you could disappear and walk into my house as if I wouldn't recognize you?" Her confusion deepened. "Sir, I think there's a misunderstanding. I was invited here for a photography." Ji-hoon cut her off with a sharp laugh. "Photography? Is that what you're calling it now?" He gestured toward one of his men. A thick folder landed on the table between them. Inside, photos. A woman who looked exactly like Amina, except for one thing, a small tattoo behind her ear. Ji-hoon's voice turned to ice. "This woman stole from me. She disappeared with $2 million in crypto, and she cost my men their lives. You're telling me that's not you?" Amina stared at the pictures in disbelief. It was like looking into a distorted mirror. Same face, same eyes, but that tattoo wasn't hers. "It's not me," she whispered. "I swear it's not me." Ji-hoon leaned closer, eyes searching hers. For a second, he seemed unsure. Then his expression hardened again. "Take her downstairs." "Wait!" Amina cried, but the guards had already grabbed her arms. "You're making a mistake." Ji-hoon turned away, his tone flat. "If you're telling the truth, we'll find out. If not, you'll wish you never got off that plane." The basement was cold, metallic. The kind of place where truth wasn't asked, it was forced. Amina sat in the corner of a dim room, her heart pounding. She didn't know where she was, who these people were, or why she looked like that woman in the photos. Hours passed. Then the door opened again. Ji-hoon entered, holding a small knife, not in threat, but as if it were part of his habit. He set it on the table beside him. "Tell me something," he said quietly. "Who sent you?" Amina's voice shook. "No one. I'm just a photographer from Nigeria. I don't even know who you are. Don't lie to me." "I'm not lying," she cried, tears in her eyes. For the first time, Ji-hoon's mask cracked, just slightly. He wasn't used to seeing fear like that. Real fear. He walked around her slowly, watching her. "If what you say is true," he said, "then you're the unluckiest woman alive. Because the person you resemble is dead." That night, as the wind howled outside the Kang estate, Ji-hoon stood by the window, staring at her file again. Her passport, her travel documents, her background, everything checked out. But his instincts screamed otherwise. One of his men entered the room. "Boss, there's something you should see." He handed Ji-hoon a phone. A message from an unknown number flashed on the screen. "She's not who you think she is. Protect her, or you'll both die." Ji-hoon's jaw clenched. Who was sending him this? And why did the stranger from Nigeria suddenly feel like the key to something bigger, something dangerous? He turned toward the door, his mind made up. "Bring her to me. I want to hear her story again." And in that moment, the game between truth and deception began. The metal door creaked open again. Amina blinked against the sudden flood of light. Her wrists ached from the cold handcuffs, her voice dry from hours of silence. Ji-hoon Kang stood in the doorway. Still sharp, still dangerous, but quieter now, his expression unreadable. "Get up," he said. She hesitated, then obeyed. He led her down a narrow hallway, up a staircase, and into a dimly lit room. It wasn't like the basement, this one looked like an office, modern, expensive, lined with books and glass. A camera blinked red from the corner. Ji-hoon sat on the edge of a desk, arms crossed. "Sit." She sat. Her hands trembled slightly on her lap. He watched her for a long time before speaking. "Let's start over. Name?" "Amina Okafor." "From?" Lagos, Nigeria. Purpose of your visit to Seoul? A photography contract. I have the email. He reached for her bag on the table, opened it, and found her phone. He tossed it to one of his men. Check it. Silence filled the room. The only sound was the hum of the air conditioner and Amina's uneven breathing. You have any idea who you look like? Ji-hoon asked finally. She shook her head. That woman, he said, walking closer, betrayed me. My men died because of her. And now, a week after her death, you show up, with her face. He leaned in, eyes cold and searching. What am I supposed to believe, Amina? Her voice cracked. That I'm telling the truth. I don't know her, I swear. Swear all you want, he cut in, but people lie when their lives are on the line. Amina's tears slipped down her cheek. Then look me in the eyes and tell me I'm lying. For a moment, he did. And something inside him hesitated. There was no calculation in her expression. No deception. Only raw fear and confusion. He turned away sharply. Enough for today, he said to his men. Take her back. But as the guards stepped forward, one of them whispered, Boss, that email address she mentioned, it's legit. It came from one of our subsidiaries, but someone deleted the trail. Ji-hoon froze. What? The guard nodded. It looks like she was hired. But not by us. Someone used the company's name to bring her here. The words hit him hard. His eyes flicked back to Amina, who was standing quietly, trembling. If she wasn't lying. Then someone inside his organization had set her up. That night, Ji-hoon replayed her voice in his mind. The sincerity. The fear. It didn't add up, none of it did. He poured himself a drink, staring at the reflection of city lights on his window. Who are you really, Amina Okafor? He murmured. Downstairs, Amina sat alone in a locked room, hugging her knees. She could hear footsteps, muffled voices, distant thunder. Then, faintly, a sound. Like someone typing. She looked up. Her phone had been returned, still dead from earlier. But now, it vibrated once, lighting up briefly. One message. Don't trust the man in the black suit. He's not who you think he is. Her breath caught. Ji-hoon wore a black suit. Always. Amina's pulse raced as she looked toward the door. If she'd been set up, then by whom? And why did Ji-hoon, the man who accused her, seem just as trapped as she was? The rain came down hard that night. Thunder rolled over the mountains as if warning the Kong estate of what was about to happen. Amina sat in her locked room, pacing back and forth. The walls felt like they were closing in, her chest tight with fear. Her phone buzzed again, that same message flashing once more before disappearing. They're coming for both of you. She tried the door. Locked. She tried the window. Sealed. Her eyes darted around until she spotted a loose vent cover near the floor. It was small, but maybe, just maybe, big enough. A deep breath. Then another. She pulled it off, scraping her hands on the metal. The sound echoed. Footsteps outside. Someone was coming. Meanwhile upstairs, Ji-hoon was on the phone, his voice low and tense. I don't care what it takes. Find out who sent that email. Trace every IP, every internal log. His second-in-command, Miho, entered suddenly, out of breath. Boss, we've got a problem. What kind of problem? Security cameras, someone's breached our network. The feeds are looping. We're blind. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. Lock down the house. He turned to leave, and then he froze. On one of the screens, briefly flickering before cutting to static, he saw her. Amina. Crawling through the vent. Damn it, he muttered, snatching his gun. Downstairs, Amina emerged into another hallway, panting, covered in dust. She had no plan, only one thought: get out. She moved quietly through the shadows until she reached the main hall. The rain outside flashed against the glass doors. Freedom was right there. Then. Stop. The shout came from behind her. Guards. She ran. Gunfire cracked through the silence, shattering glass as she ducked behind a pillar. Sparks flew as bullets tore into the marble. Her heart pounded so hard she thought it would burst. A sharp voice cut through the chaos: Jihoon's. Hold your fire. The men hesitated. Amina took the chance. She ran again, barefoot, slipping on the wet tiles, pushing the heavy doors open and stumbling into the storm. The cold rain hit her face like ice, mixing with tears she didn't even realize were falling. She sprinted toward the outer gates, but headlights suddenly flared ahead. A black SUV screeched to a stop. Men in darker uniforms stepped out, not Jihoon's. They raised their guns. Before Amina could move, someone tackled her to the ground. Gunfire erupted, deafening, chaotic. Jihoon rolled over her, shielding her from the bullets. She gasped, frozen in shock. What are you doing? Saving your life, he snapped. Stay down. He fired back, precise, ruthless. Each shot echoed against the stone walls. The attackers retreated, but one grenade rolled across the ground, its red light blinking. Jihoon cursed, grabbed Amina's hand, and ran. They dove behind a concrete wall just as the explosion ripped through the courtyard, a blast of heat and dust throwing them both off their feet. When the ringing in her ears faded, she realized she was still clutching his hand. Jihoon was breathing hard, blood trickling down his cheek from a cut. You're insane, she whispered. You're welcome, he said dryly, standing. He looked toward the burning wreckage, the mansion's front gate, gone. Whoever attacked them had come prepared. Who were those people? She asked. People who want me dead, he replied. And now they'll want you too. Her breath caught. Me? Why? Because someone used you as bait, he said quietly. They wanted you here, so I'd let my guard down. Lightning flashed across his face, highlighting the intensity in his eyes. For the first time, Amina saw something beneath the anger: fear. He holstered his gun and looked at her. You're not safe here. Come with me. I'm not going anywhere with you. Then you'll die here, he said simply, and turned to leave. Amina hesitated only a moment before following him into the rain. They ran down a side road, away from the burning mansion, until Jihoon stopped beside a black motorcycle hidden beneath a tarp. He handed her a helmet. Get on. I don't even know who you are. You don't need to, he said, swinging onto the bike. But if you want to live, hold on. The roar of the engine drowned out her fear as they sped into the night, tires cutting through rain and smoke. Behind them, the Kang estate burned, and somewhere in the chaos, a shadowy figure watched them escape. The figure raised a phone, speaking in Korean. They're together now, the voice said. Just as planned. The motorcycle sliced through the dark countryside like a shadow. Rain whipped against Amina's face as she clung to Jihoon's back, her fingers gripping his jacket with trembling hands. She didn't know where they were going, only that behind them, the world she'd stepped into was burning. When the city lights finally faded, they stopped near an abandoned warehouse at the edge of the river. Jihoon killed the engine and pulled off his helmet. The glow of street lamps reflected off the wet pavement, catching the sharp line of his jaw. Get inside, he said, voice firm but quieter than before. Amina followed, shivering. Her clothes were soaked, her braids heavy with rain. The warehouse was mostly empty except for a small room in the corner, a makeshift office with a couch, some bottled water, and medical supplies. Jihoon grabbed a towel and tossed it to her. Dry off. She caught it but didn't move. Why are you helping me now? She asked softly. He paused, glancing at her. Because someone just tried to kill you, he said. And whoever set you up, wanted you dead before I found out the truth. The truth? That you're not the woman I thought you were. Amina wrapped the towel around herself, eyes locked on him. You're just realizing that? I don't make mistakes, he said coldly. You made one with me. That silenced him. For the first time, she saw uncertainty flicker in his eyes, just for a heartbeat, before his mask returned. He turned away and started cleaning the cut on his cheek. Amina hesitated, then stepped closer. Let me. He didn't reply, but he didn't stop her either. She took the antiseptic from his hand and dabbed gently at the wound. Their faces were close, too close. She could feel his breath, warm against her skin. You're used to people fearing you, aren't you? She whispered. It keeps them alive. And me? You're still deciding, he said, meeting her eyes. For a moment, the tension shifted, from fear to something neither of them wanted to name. Then Ji-hoon pulled away. Get some rest. You'll need it. Where are you going? To find out who played us both. He left before she could say another word. Outside, Ji-hoon made a call. Miho, report. The attackers, not one of ours, Miho's voice said. But someone inside leaked the location. You were set up, boss. And the woman? There's more. The one she looks like, Hannah Park, wasn't just anyone. She was working undercover for the National Intelligence Service. She infiltrated our network months ago. Ji-hoon's eyes darkened. An NIS agent. Yes. But someone betrayed her. She vanished after her last mission. We thought she was dead. He ended the call slowly, the pieces falling into place. Amina's resemblance to the agent wasn't coincidence. Someone had used that similarity to draw him out, to expose both him and the mole within his organization. But who? Inside the safe house, Amina couldn't sleep. Her mind raced with questions, about the message, about Ji-hoon, about why she was dragged into this. She looked around the room. On the table lay a small, black phone, Ji-hoon's. It vibrated once. The screen lit up with a message in Korean. She couldn't read it fully, but one line stood out in English. Ji-hoon Kang dies tomorrow. Her heart dropped. Amina grabbed the phone and ran out of the room, shouting. Ji-hoon. But when she stepped outside, he was gone. Only the sound of the river and the fading echo of thunder remained. Somewhere in the shadows across the water, a figure watched them through a scope. A voice crackled over a radio. Target confirmed. The girl's still alive. Kang hasn't figured it out yet. Good, the other voice replied. Let them stay together. It'll make his fall more painful. The sniper adjusted his aim, eyes cold behind the scope. Orders? Not yet. Wait for the signal. The radio clicked off. A red laser dot flickered briefly across the warehouse window, then vanished into the dark. The night was quiet, too quiet. The rain had stopped, but the silence carried a heaviness that pressed against the skin. Ji-hoon walked back toward the warehouse, every instinct on alert. Something was wrong. His phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. The girl knows. He froze. Then, a gunshot. Inside, Amina screamed as glass shattered. A bullet tore through the window, splintering the wall inches from her head. She dropped to the floor, crawling behind the couch, heart pounding. Ji-hoon, she shouted, but only the sound of footsteps answered, boots, heavy and deliberate, approaching fast. The warehouse lights flickered once, then went out. Darkness swallowed everything. She grabbed the small lamp from the table and hurled it toward the door. It crashed, sparks flying. The men outside opened fire, bullets lighting up the room like flashes of lightning. Amina covered her ears, trembling, until she heard him. Stay down. Ji-hoon burst through the side door, twin pistols blazing. His movements were sharp, precise, every shot a message. 2 attackers went down. The others scattered into cover. He slid across the floor, grabbed Amina by the arm, and pulled her behind a crate. "You okay?" "Do I look okay?" she gasped. "Good. You're still breathing." He peeked around the corner, eyes narrowing as another bullet grazed the metal. "They're not just after me anymore," he muttered. "They want you alive." "Why me?" "I don't know anything." "You know enough." Another explosion rocked the building, a flash grenade. The shockwave sent both of them sprawling. When the smoke cleared, Jihoon stood first, shielding Amina again. He fired until his magazines were empty, then pulled her toward the back exit. They burst into the open air, running across the muddy yard toward a black sedan. Jihoon hit the remote, it chirped once. They dove in. As the car roared to life, bullets slammed into the side panels. Amina ducked, clutching the seat. Jihoon slammed the accelerator. The car fishtailed, then tore down the road, tires screaming. "Who are these people?" she shouted over the wind. "People who think I care enough about you to risk everything," he said through clenched teeth. "And do you?" He glanced at her, eyes dark, unreadable. "That's what I'm trying to figure out." Minutes later, they reached an abandoned tunnel leading toward the hills. Jihoon killed the headlights and parked. The car's interior glowed faintly from the dashboard light, reflecting on their faces. Both were breathing hard, shaken but alive. Amina turned to him, voice low. "You could have left me there." "I tried," he said flatly. "You followed me. You saved me, again. Don't make a habit of it." She almost smiled, but the tension between them hung heavy, a current neither could deny. Their eyes met, and for the first time, he didn't look away. Then his phone buzzed again. He answered, voice sharp. "Miho?" But it wasn't Miho. A distorted voice came through the speaker, calm, familiar, terrifying. "You should have let her die, Jihoon." His blood ran cold. "Who is this?" "Someone who knows your weakness." Amina stared at him, confusion and fear crossing her face. "What do you want?" Jihoon demanded. "Simple. You. For her." Static. Then silence. Jihoon tossed the phone aside and slammed his hand against the wheel. "They've got Miho," he said. "And they want an exchange." "An exchange?" Amina asked. "For me?" He didn't answer. "Jihoon, you can't." "They'll kill him," he snapped. "And if I don't go, they'll kill you both." She reached for his arm. "You can't just walk into a trap." "I've lived my whole life in traps," he said, eyes burning. "This time, I'm choosing which one." "Then I'm coming with you." "No. You don't get to decide that," she fired back. He looked at her, jaw tight, every part of him at war. Then, quietly. "You'll only slow me down. Try me." The silence that followed was thick with unspoken emotion. Finally, Jihoon pulled out a small black gun and pressed it into her hands. "If anything happens, don't hesitate. Jihoon. Promise me." She nodded, trembling. He reached out, brushing a strand of her wet braid from her face, a gesture so soft it didn't belong in their world. "You shouldn't have been part of this," he said quietly. "Neither should you," she whispered. For a moment, the world outside didn't exist, just the two of them, trapped between danger and desire. Then Jihoon started the car again. The tunnel lights flickered to life ahead, leading into the unknown. As they drove, Amina looked back, and saw a dark vehicle emerge behind them. Headlights. Following. Her voice trembled. "Jihoon, we're not alone." He checked the rearview mirror, expression hardening. "Then hold on tight." The engine roared. The chase was on again.